Good morning everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I just want to bring you up to speed with what I stitched last night. I got all of the stems in place, I got all the beads in place, and I just popped a few little leaves in amongst the arrangement. Then I wanted to try cast on stitch into a button. My attempt took ages. I just couldn't quite get the gist of it and where the needle goes and where you then go back down to create a rose. The best I could get was this dropped down little, I don't know, it's sort of like a little, it's a flower that pops up in the garden every season. There's some little bulbs in there, snowflakes, little white, little curved down flower. That's what they remind me of. So then I thought, well, let's try and make this single bead or this single button flower look like it belongs. So I started doing some additional little cast on stitches. So much easier out here in the open. It's just navigating the button. I sort of need to practice it, I think, on a bigger piece where I've got a little bit more room and maybe a bigger button. So that's as far as I got. I did remove the beads from the butterflies and stitched those, so that little task is done. And yeah, for me it is Friday, so only a day has gone by since I started Honey Bear's little button arrangement. But for you, I think this video is popping up on the Tuesday. So a few days have gone by since you've seen the Honey Bear update. So for me, hopefully, I'm getting the front door key to our new house all going to plan. I think I mentioned in the last video we are loading up on the Sunday, so we haven't done that yet, but we will be. I spent most of yesterday after I finished filming carting boxes to the doorway that we sort of exit out of our existing house to the van that we're using to cart furniture. So it's the shortest route, if you will. So husband mowed the lawn and did all the garden maintenance because that sort of got a little bit out of control. And I've been packing for weeks, so I thought I'll get everything to the door, and then on Sunday we can just load it straight into the van. So that's what I did. I'm a little bit sore humping all those boxes. And that's just, you know, linen cupboard, craft room supplies that I don't really use much of anymore, but, you know, sort of need them there just in case. Those supplies. So Christmas decorations was another area I packed. Just easy to pack. A lot of the things we sort of still need while we're, you know, living in Brisbane. So I can't get too busy at it. But excess is catching a ride up. What did I do with my needle just then? What did I do with it? There it is. So that's what I did yesterday, and then last night I finished stitching what we did in the video, and that's when I started the cast on stitch. Oh gosh, I got frustrated with it. Really just would not come together. I kept watching the little video. I've linked the video in the description below so you can have a look. There's 7 different little button embroidery ideas. So feel free to have a play. I need more time to focus on it. It was just not coming together for me. I think I've gone to a thicker thread. I have. And a different colour. Have I? No, that's right. The little cast on stitch petals are the paler. That is a thicker thread. They're going to be huge. No, stop. Stop, 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 stop. So that's too thick. What did I use then? I used a creamy colour for the stem and then highlight. Yeah, that's the one. Just slow down, girl. You need to unpick that. This is what it was like last night. I just could not get it how I liked it. I was watching a movie and I was absolutely enthralled in it. Can't even remember what it was now. What was it? Oh, Expendables. Gosh, of all movies. But it was just so good to see all the actors. It's a heap of the old boys getting together. So Harrison Ford, Sylvester Stallone. There's just such a mix of acting royalty in it. So it was just good to see the chemistry between them all, because you can just see that they were kicking themselves laughing between takes. And how that come about is we felt like going to a movie. We haven't been to a movie for probably 4 or 5 months. And we thought, oh, we've been busy all week and humped boxes all day and mowed, and we just felt like going out. If I had a look at what was playing at the cinema, nothing, except I noticed that Expendables number 5 was there. And I don't mind a good action movie, especially when it's full of great actors from pretty much my childhood of watching movies. And the times just didn't line up, and the more we sat and relaxed, the more we realised we were actually quite, no, go back the other way. The more we realised we were quite weary, so the movie just didn't happen. And then I said to my husband, well, it'd be somewhere on Netflix, Stan or Prime, one of those. It'd have to have it. So that's what we watched. And I kept looking up at the screen because it was like, oh, there's Harrison Ford. And, you know, watching every movie makes him a bit of a fan of the old boy. It's one of those actors you grow up watching, and, oh, there's heaps of them. And then when you see a face and you can't quite remember their name, how many stitches have I done there? Gosh. I think I did 5. Yeah, when you see their face and you can't quite remember their name, so then you Google them, and then you go down that rabbit hole where you're like, oh, that's right, remember that movie, yeah, well, that's what it was like. So to be concentrating on cast on stitch into buttonholes, going via a YouTube video that was going at a rapid rate of knots. I think she shows you 7 suggestions in 7 minutes. Like, oh, goodness me. How's a girl supposed to figure that out? So it was a bit of a disaster. I had plans of this rosette in the big button here, but I don't know. Couldn't get it. Another day. Moving along. Haven't got time to be mucking around with all this really, but it was fun. So that's when I'm like, right, need to adapt the design, and we'll chase that design down another day. So, and I love cast on stitch. Oh, puppy dog. So there's the 2 little petals coming down. And then to really make it look rather cute, we'll do another one here. Two, 3, 4, 5. And then probably 20 minutes before the movie finished, we got a notification on my husband's phone to say that our our mates in Melbourne had just gone live on Twitch. Now Twitch is, if you don't know what Twitch is, it's like Zoom, and you can stream live, and you can watch it and comment. So there's a few different platforms out there, but Twitch became quite big during COVID, and some people at that stage we didn't know started streaming pinball, which is my husband's passion. 2, 3, 4, 5. And they were part, this couple were part, we'll call them Dave and Ray because it's just too hard not to say. Hey Ray, if you're listening, she tends to put me on her, oh, what have I done? She puts me on her car speaker and listens to me yibba yabba as she drives around Melbourne for her job. And I've just jiggered this, no. What's going on there? Hang on, hold the horses. Little knot. That's it. Saved. Yeah, so Raylene drives around Melbourne for her job, and she often puts me on, and I'm her company in the car, yibby yabbering. She's not a sewer, but she's a listener. That's pretty good. I like that. I could even put some tiny little stitches into there. I might do that. Let's see what that looks like. Let's finish this thread off. So anyway, we get a notification that Dave and Ray have gone live on Twitch from their shed where all their pinball machines are. And they just chat. They have a few drinks. They've got a pool table in the room, so they'll have a game of pool, and we all just sit on our couches watching and chatting back to them via texting. So my husband often tunes into them. I'm usually in bed when those pair come on Twitch, but they happen to come on a little earlier, and my husband, I could see, was like, oh, Dave and Ray have just gone live. And I'm like, yeah, put them on. I've finished reminiscing my famous old fellas in Expendables. Let's watch them. So he was, wrapped. Anyway, we were sitting there listening to them, and they only had 5 people tuned in because it is, a weekday night. And we haven't spoken to them for a couple months. Now, Raylene's mum and dad and sisters are Brisbane people. She grew up in Toowoomba. So she's a Queenslander, and she's engaged to a Melbourne lad now. Anyway, we stumbled on them during COVID, and of course our poor old Victorians were locked down so much during COVID that they started Twitch streaming their pinballs for something to do. It really helped with their mental health because they could hang out in their shed with all their pinball machines. They actually have a business that rents pinball machines out to taverns and pubs and, all over Melbourne, restaurants. So they've got quite a collection of machines, and are like common, birds of a feather. Husband has a couple machines, so he was sort of instantly attracted to their channel. That is the most crooked, oh my goodness. I've been running around like a mad chook all morning trying to get a couple loads of washing in. I had a cup of coffee, so I feel like I'm buzzing a bit. So now my stitching is going to follow suit by being a hot mess. So anyway, getting back to the topic at hand, we were tuned in to the guys, hadn't spoken for ages, so it was like, how are yous, miss yous, haven't seen you for a while. They were up, I think, in June for a big pinball competition, and Raylene caught up with her mum and sisters, and we had dinner with them a couple of nights just to say g'day and, you know, hang out. So just by watching them and reaching out to them and chatting, we've become pretty good chums, actually. They've stayed at our place quite a few times, and yeah, they're just lovely. You know, there's just some people that when you hang out with them, there's just no, oh gee, I want to swear. It's an animal that has 4 legs and is the male to a cow. And then the second word is one I can't say. There's just no with them. They're just straight down the line, good Aussie folks. So we're having a bit of a reunion. How you been? What's been happening? And they said, have you got the house? And we said, sad face emoji, don't have it yet, hopefully Tuesday. And they usually put on a big Christmas party, which we went to year before last. We flew down and they put us up in a room, and they would have had 100 people there. And it's sort of part of their pinball club, plus friends and family and things like that. So we have heard about it. We've seen them stream on that night, and my husband's got to know a lot of their mates now through the industry. So yeah, it's like a whole new community, but more my husband's hobby. And I've got to know the wives, and they're a lovely bunch of chicks. So yeah, and then out of the blue, we just started talking about Christmas. What are you doing? There's a family coming up, you know, things like that. And they said, we're having Christmas as usual with all the family and the kids and yada yada. And what are you doing for New Year's? And we said, well, basically we'll be up at Barham for both Christmas and New Year's, and already all of the visitors are booking in rooms, and you know, it's going to be a full house basically. So Corinne's going to be a very busy girl, because it seems like once you get a house at the beach, everybody comes. So New Year's at the moment, there's still a few rooms free. And then out of the blue, the boys start talking, Dave and my husband, and saying, well, why don't you jump a plane and come up? So within 5 minutes, Ray was on a website booking flights. It was so funny. And they're coming. So they're coming for a week, 27th to the 3rd. And she just wants to check a few more flight details, because she's got a few options. She can fly into Brisbane and then hire a car and drive up. She could fly into Brisbane and catch the train that takes you into the centre of town, into the centre of Brisbane, and jump on a train that comes up to a little town, past a little town near us, Howard. So, you know, she could save driving, jump on a train and zoom up. So that was another option we were looking at. She can fly into Bundaberg, but by hang, that was expensive. Holy Nelly. Gee, they're ripping people off. I think it was $1,600. And she can fly into Brisbane for, this is for 2 people, so that was $800 each. She can fly into Brisbane for about $700, $650. So the difference is just ridiculous. So she's going to do a little bit more research today, work out exactly the plan of attack, and of course touch base with her mum and sisters and maybe catch up with them in the process. So very exciting. This little stem here, I don't have room to put the little hanging one out, so I might just do the one little branch, little leaf. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, sticks. Then I probably used the wrong colour. Oh, whatever. Honey Bear, you're an eclectic girl. You won't hold it against me that my thread colours have adjusted to where I started. So that was our evening. We've got some surprise guests coming for a New Year, Christmas, New Year visit, which is all very exciting. So, of course, when I went to bed, it was about midnight after sitting there chatting to those guys, a heap of their friends from Melbourne as part of their pinball club have all gone to Chicago to a big pinball convention. That's where all the big manufacturers go and showcase their games, and anything new that they're about to release is often done at this big festival. There's quite a few podcasters and from around the world that talk pinball, so they're all there. There's all sorts of things on. It's a week-long event, so they were talking about that as well. So hopefully one day we're going to be able to come to Chicago to visit this big pinball conference. Apparently, I've been told we are. I'll be there looking at fabric, let me tell you. I just do one up in the air there. I sort of feel like it needs, I know they're all droopy, but I think I need something there. So midnight, finally crawl into bed, and all I could think about was the house full of people coming. You know, when you go, yeah, that'll be great. Let's do it. Yeah, come on down. There's plenty of room. You know, that conversation. And then you take a moment and you lay down your head on the pillow and you go, oh my gosh, I haven't even moved into the house. Don't even have beds there yet. Don't even have a fridge. Be great if we had some turf. So the girl is a glutton for punishment and is now looking like she's going to have a house full of people from pre-Christmas right through to the 3rd of January. Seriously. If you're listening, Ray, it's not an issue, but it was a bit of a midnight, oh my goodness. But, you know, when you've got one group, it doesn't really matter if you have a few more because you've already got activity. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's better to have a few in one hit than dribs and drabs for months. So, and they're all great cooks. So look, don't feel sorry for me. There'll be plenty of girls to help me. That's not an issue whatsoever. It's moving into the house to be ready. I'm sure it'll all happen. I've got plenty of time. Oh my goodness. I know you're sitting there on your couches listening to this going, that girl is a sucker for punishment. She is. She surely is. But it will be fun. Will be fun. I said to my husband, the main thing is that we have some fencing up so that Pepper and Bandit and Fudge are with us. I don't want to be away having to come back every few days just to make sure the household of animals are good here. And of course they miss us. And it's pressure on Chelsea Girl, my house sitter. She's got a social life. So let's aim to have a portion of the yard, maybe just one side of the house, all sorted with fencing so that my 2 doggies and Fudge Cat can come along too. And then I know I'll be a lot happier because I won't be worrying about them back in Brisbane. So got a lot to do. Got a lot to do. But it'll all work out. As you gathered, I'm a bit of an organiser, so I'm pretty confident I can pull this off. A few sleepless nights, I'm sure. Oh, gee. I think the train coming from Brisbane up to the little town of Howard, which is just near us, is going to be quite handy. I noticed a few of the neighbours over the years, a few of the wives, there's probably about 6 of them. Every so often they'll all jump on that train together and they'll come to Brisbane for a weekend. They'll come down like on a Thursday and they go back on the Sunday and they visit their kids and do shopping and have a bit of a weekend away. And when I was looking at the timetable for that train, the tilt train, it actually is quite good. I can see why the girls find that really convenient, because hubbies can just drop them at the train station at this little country town and they whip straight into Brisbane. It is a bit of a distance. I think it's about 3.5 hours or something. But that's what it takes to drive it, just about. So it saves driving. And take a good book or some stitching. Oh, I wonder if I've got enough thread here to get this cast on stitch. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But I suspect Dave and Ray will hire a car, because she was talking about, because Dave is a Victorian through and through. He's hardly explored Queensland, where she grew up here. So she started thinking that she could take him on a few day trips to see some of the other areas up our way, which would be great. So I think they'll hire a car. That way they can cruise around. And then I said to my husband, we might even take them to Fraser Island for the day. That'd be beautiful. Pack a picnic, hop on the barge and go across to the Fraser and show them the island. Be a bit of fun. It'll be busy because it'll be right in the middle of holidays, but it'll be an adventure. I think I can get a second. Oh, think about it, girl. You've got to bring the needle up from the bottom back up to your point. So yeah, that happened last night. I haven't even got the key to the house and I've already got 2 weeks of a household of people coming. See, I told you, blooming houses at the beach. It becomes a holiday joint for everyone. It'll be good, but at least they'll come and visit us. So we are moving away from a lot of our mates, but you know, if the beach doesn't lure them, just got to get me pooches and my cat there, and then I'll be really comfortable. I'll be relaxed because I know my babies are with me. Yeah, I might try and get another one in here. I like this. This has just softened it and added a little bit of interest. I wonder if I could put some beads in too. 3, 4, 5, 6. So when I finish this video, my plan is to head out for the day because I need a few storage solutions. The main one is those trays that go into your drawers to hold your knives and forks. I've got a lot of drawers in the kitchen and the builders only supplied 1 or 2 for dedicated drawers that would hold your knives and forks, but I want to convert a few of the other ones into that type of storage. And I trialled here at home a expandable tidy tray utensils thing from Kmart, and it was really economical to buy, and it can expand to suit any size cupboard, and it's got the, you know, the tray, the slots, and it's really good. So I want to dodge out today and grab a couple of them, because by Tuesday afternoon, all going to plan, I will be emptying boxes. And I said to my husband that if I get those trays and get them in there, at least as I empty the box, they're into the tray, and I'm not having to pull everything out to put the trays in at a later date. And you know how it goes. That later date could be 2 years, because you just get busy. So I thought, if I don't get them now while I've got a moment, they're in, they're done. I found a roll of, oh, come on, the coffee's kicking in and my needle's wobbly. I found a roll of wallpaper that I had used in the previous house and a little bit here. And I like to put some paper down on in the shelving under the sink areas, or where there's wet products sitting, because I always spill things. I'm a shocker. So I found the roll of wallpaper that was left from the last time I did the little job. So I chucked that into a box and some scissors so I can lay out a piece of wallpaper underneath the sink. And then all my cleaning products can sit on it, and if anything dribbles or stains, I'm not trying to get it off the, you know, the shelving. Just something I've always done, and oh boy, it saved me a few times. Because I'm guaranteed I'll spill something or not put a lid on properly, and next minute it's knocked over and you don't realise, and a couple of days go by and you open up the cupboard and there's been a slow leak. Yeah. There we go. I like that. It's just put in there a bit of softness. I'll finish this thread off, and I just want to have a good look at it again to see if there's any other opportunities to do a little sprig, or what I've done's enough. So let's have a look. Honey Bear, how's your bunch of bead flowers going? Oh, I like that. Oh, hasn't that just softened it? I did draw a little line there, but I don't think I'll bother. I think it's starting to look a little bit too symmetrical. Love it. What else can I do? I did stitch the buttons on just with thread, so I might actually go back through them now and do a little bit more thicker cotton so that it's a little bit more decorative. I'll only need a stitch because this is thick, and that will make it more of a feature. Yeah, I like that. And some of these little buttons, I did the shape as if it could be a mini flower, so I might explore that. Not that I want to bring green into it. I can hear my phone ringing. I better pause the video because it could be one of the shops calling me. So I'll be back in a moment, guys. Sorry, guys, I'm back. It was actually my dad. He is getting ready to start his day. They're harvesting onions, my brother and father. Like they need to be working that hard. But anyway, that's another topic for another day. And yeah, he was ringing with a little bit of sad news. And I was starting to think, oh no, his dog Honey has passed. But no, they're blooming boys, I tell you. Dad's got a creek that runs through the farm. And there's some really deep holes in it. So they hold a lot of water for quite some time. But it's just getting so dry that my brother was walking through the creek to head to the, down to the onion patch for the day. And he spotted 3 jewfish that were deceased on the side of this puddle. And all that's left is a puddle. Now, this is a body of water that would probably be 9 foot deep, maybe more. And probably 30 meters long, and then there's probably about 4 or 5 of these little I wonder if I could do a little twig out of there. 4 or 5 of these little bodies of water, but they're just drying up. It's just getting really dry. It's getting bad when you're driving around and all you see is trucks with hay on them for cattle or horses. So there's a lot of people out there buying in food now for livestock. So, and even last week, someone stole a truck that was loaded up with round bales of hay from a rural town halfway between Burrum and Brisbane. And then about a day later, they found the truck dumped in a national park, and the hay, of course, was missing. But they got their truck back. So it was all over Facebook. Have you seen this white truck with 10 or 8 bales of hay on it? And so everyone's sharing it to see if we can, catch it. But they found the truck in a state forestry on a back road. But, of course, the hay was gone. And those bales of hay, they're starting to climb in value. I know the price of cattle has dropped. Dad's got about, I think there's 11 head of cows there that he's, had since they were young. They've been, mowing the grass, munching away. And he was considering selling them off to market just before Christmas, but the price of cattle has absolutely plummeted because there'd be all of these farmers out there that's more mouths to feed. So they're rushing the sale yards with cattle, and now the price has plummeted. So you just, I tell you, who would be a farmer? It's either flooding. I think he was saying that last year his onions, they pretty much ploughed in a lot of them because it was raining so much and then humid the next day. Rain, humid, rain, humid. It was really wet summer. So because they're in black soil, the black soil holds the moisture a little bit more than, say, a sandy loam soil. So the little onions, which were ready for harvest, were sitting there with wet bottoms, and then it would be hot and wet, hot, wet. So they went rotten really quickly. So it gets to a point where he probably got a third of them out because you can only process so many at a time. He got a third of them out and then just had to plough them in because they were lost. So I said to him, we were up there last week, and I said, oh, well, at least it's a dry season for your onions. And he said, yeah, but he said, the sun is so harsh that he said, I'm fighting sunburn this year. And he said, as soon as he leaves like a weed grow over them, so that protects the onions, because once the stalk drops, it exposes the top of the bulb and they're pretty much ready for harvest. So having a bit of a weedy patch just gives them that little bit of shade. Well, once that weed dies off due to lack of water, because Dad can't water anymore, the onions are set and they're ready to harvest. So the last thing you want to do is make all the ground boggy. So once that weed dies off, it exposes the top of the onion to the sun, and then that gets sunburnt and they go rotten as well. So you can't win. I don't know. I tell you, I keep saying to him, why the effort? Why don't you retire? No, if I retire, I'll just drop dead. So I'm like, righto. So he is just busting his hump. He's so tired. When we got there to drop off food and do some paperwork for him last week, he just looks exhausted. But he loves it. What can you say? His onions look beautiful. He's taken a load through to a co-op in Bundaberg last week. He just got back from doing that run when we arrived in the afternoon. So he was exhausted from being up at the Cracker Sparrows to take his onions to market. And he's also having to, harvest. His right-hand man, Henrik, what's he? 93. Oh, it's just a circus. Henrik's 93. He's a lovely old fella. And all he wants, he just loves snipping the onions, because you got to top and tail them, and they do it by hand with these big shears. Anyway, Henrik comes down for the day and he'll do a 3/4 of a day. And he's been doing it for years. He loves getting out of the house and hanging in the hay shed with my dad and brother, snipping. And my brother snips and Henrik snips while Dad brings them in from the farm and lays them all out on this massive wagon. And then the two men stand there snipping. Anyway, Henrik's had to go and get, I think, a cataract dealt with. So he's done about a week of snipping, and now he's missing in action until he's ready to come back, which will probably be the following week. So Dad literally is pretty much on his own. My brother comes and goes. And, it's just a circus. I think Dad is, 76? Henrik's 93. It's not an efficient production, let's put it that way. But it makes a few shekels, that pays for the diesel, that runs the tractor and slasher, that mows the grass through the rest of the year. So it all helps. A few coins here and there. So yeah, that's what's going on. We're harvesting onions at the moment, and Dad had a bit of an altercation at the local Westpac branch, and it really rattled him. They were quite rude, but I think I know what happened. They were probably just asking questions, and Dad didn't understand, and he got upset. They got upset, and Dad stormed out. He was depositing a little bit of money that he'd made from his roadside stall, and I think, from what I understand, without ringing the bank, which I don't really want to get involved, I might just draw that line in. I think they wanted to know which account he wanted it deposited in. And he just didn't realise that that was something he needed to know, because he's never been asked, because it goes into the same business account, has for years. But for some reason, this person has asked, which account, sir, did you want it put in? He didn't understand. They got quite short with him, and there was a bit of an issue. So anyway, he was ringing to see if I'd got my head around what had happened and how we fix it. So I think I know how I can fix it. I put a deposit slip in with it. Now, I haven't filled out a deposit slip to go with a deposit for ages because they just swipe your card and then it goes into that account. But he must have a couple accounts linked to it. So the guy on the counter said, "Sir, which account do you want the money put into?" He says, "Oh, I don't know, just in the account." Well, what account? In the account. And you see how it played out. And the man said to Dad, "Do you not understand? Is there something wrong with you?" So then Dad's like, "You rude gentleman." And pretty much stormed out. They have deposited the money. So all is good their end, but they would have thought, what the... So I think the daughter, me, if she was to include a deposit slip with the money so that when they swipe his little handy card and see these accounts sitting there, they will know for sure which account to put it in and not have to ask Dad, who gets a little confused about it all. I think that's what went down. So anyway, he's a lot happier today. He was pretty riled up. He never gets angry. Like, he's a pretty cool cat. But he was really quite upset. It really had knocked his confidence a little bit because he'd never been asked the question. So there's some new lad in the bank and yeah. But I think the daughter can sort something out there just to make the transition a little easier. Never ends, does it? Never ends. I was stitching into the buttons, wasn't I? And now I've started stitching more twigs. Just felt like I needed a little bit of softness down around the base here. And I really like the look it's giving me. So I'm just going to, I'll put a little one there. And I'm just going to do another one here. Gosh, so much happens, doesn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, that'll do it. Gee, I like this cast on stitch. I'm sure I've said it 10 times already. Feels so clever once you do it. That Jennifer showed me that. Oh, it's a bit short. We'll have enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more. 6. Yeah. Might do one more. Oh my goodness. Can't help myself, can I? 2, 3, 4, 5. That'll do. Just a little one. Can't be too big because it's a tiny little twig. I don't want the little bud things. So that's what I've got planned today. I'm going to do a little bit of shopping. I need to swing by Spotlight. Hopefully Tia from Calm Creations is working today. She works at my local Spotlight and her YouTube channel. If you remember, Tia came for a stitching day when Susanna was visiting. So hopefully she's working and I can say hello. I need to pick up some zips for a project that I'm filming. So quick trip to Spotlight. I need some food. Quick trip to Woolworths, but not too much because we're heading off again. So it's this balance between having enough to eat but not wasting food. So I need to get some cat food for Fudgy, restock him up. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I promised to catch up with Susanna. So I've sent her a message to say, hey, you're up for 1 o'clock. Have a bit of a sit and stitch. Say good day to Susanna. Haven't spoken to her all week because I've been busy. And we like to sit and stitch. We just put on Facebook FaceTime. So I can see her, she can see me. We just rest the phone on the table or the couch, sit, stitch, and suddenly 2 hours of our lives have passed. It's great. We love it. We get off on so many tangents. We creatively think about things. We chat, and I just love it. It's like therapy. There we go. I'm happy with that. Just those couple little twigs here and here, I feel like it's balanced it. I think I'm going to leave it at that. I don't want to put too much more in it. Even going through and stitching over those buttons might be too much. It's a shame that one there wasn't a 4, or that one, and I could have done that again. Didn't think that through too well. Yeah, happy with that. I'm going to call that done. I just need to get my iron on and touch in around there with that to get rid of the lines. So I might grab the little guy. So just bear with me. I could finish the video and say goodbye, but I figure you're all sitting there stitching anyway. So if you can just hang in there, I will turn the iron on. And tidy that up. Yeah, love it. Great prompt. Now, as for the journal, buttons. Haven't come up with anything yet. It's a bit of a sampler, you know, samples of things. Maybe I can do something. I know there's button cards out there. I don't know. We've still got a few more prompts and my journal is getting fat. I think unless I come up with something really clever to showcase buttons in the journal. Remember, it's like a salesman's reference to sell haberdashery supplies, crocheting edges and patterns, and so buttons certainly needs to be in there. But maybe, I don't know, I need to think about it. Maybe I save it for a rainy day, the prompt, because there might be something come up that I could incorporate buttons with it, instead of dedicating a whole page to buttons and stitching like they're big pages. You'd be stitching heaps of. I'd love to do more work like this where we play with buttons and the colours, but they're big pages. And I think I might save it for, say, the snippet journal or something, you know, a little bit smaller where you've got a smaller space to work. I'll think about it. I'm happy that Honey Bear's dress has this on it because I think that's a lovely little thing for a little bear's dress. As for the mannequin, oh goodness, the mannequin. Just unplugging the iron. As I said in the last video, the mannequin's getting very little love. Lots of things pinned to it, but yeah, I don't know when I'm going to get to that. There's just too many things going on. I think it's going to be a project that hovers in the background and appears randomly one day. Okay, so we've got our buttons sorted there. I love that. I love it. I love it. How cute. Little bunch of flowers. Okay, now something, oh, I know. I need to set myself up. Oh, that's what I could look at for spotlight, is find a ribbon, a velvet blue ribbon, because I don't have anything. I've looked. So I could do with something, I don't know. So what I could do is I'm going to get myself ready for stitching this down. Use a fine needle, and then I can put that by my chair, and that'll be this evening's project to work on. Oh, that needle's just too fine. Life's too short to be trying to thread a needle. I think it was Reginald anyway, so we don't need Reggie. Now, so the plan is just to have some tiny little stitches here just to hold that tatting into position. Once I get my lines in place where I'm going to lay the loops of the tatting in accordance to the seam there where the bodice meets the skirt, I think I'll be right. It's just getting those first few. I think there's a little loop that connects the loops, or there's a line of stitching there. You probably can't see it. See those two little stitches there? I'm going to try and line them up. Even actually, I might line that up, the bottom of the main loop. That's what I'll do. That's what I'll do. That might be easier to get where that loop crisscrosses. Yeah, that's got it. Then I can go up and catch it there, and if I can get the thread to sit between those two loops, that'll be really secure. That's how it's going to go. So the bottom of the scallop, so where am I? I'm over here now, so I can scoot across to here, catch that there, then go straight up to the top, catch that there, get that stitch between the two little tatting loops at the very top of that circle. Yeah, So that's quite efficient now. So I can now go back over to the bottom of that. So it's 3 stitches now. And up to the top. It's just taking my time to catch it all in the right spot so that the tatting sits nicely on her dress. It'll take a little bit. It's a bit fiddly, but it's nice mindless stitching, exactly what I need. There we go. All right, guys, I might chuff off. Otherwise, I'll just keep going here, and before we know it, we'll have an 1.5 hour long video. Here comes Fudge. Hubby's not up yet, so I may even be able to sit with Fudge just for half an hour and do this. Yeah, Fudge is in the lounge room calling me. Yeah, that's good. I'm still not opposed to putting a different lace at the back too, if I don't find that ribbon, but I can see the ribbon in my mind. For all of you that suggested it, it was a great idea. If I don't find the perfect ribbon, I might still just use some beautiful lace. I've got so much vintage lace that I think Honey Bear would also like that. That's it. Okay, I better stop. I better go. But that's nicely secured now along that edge. I love it. I love it. All right, I'm going to say goodbye. Have a lovely day, guys. Have a great weekend. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye.